You're listening to The Local Lounge. Have a seat with the DFW local music scene and your host, Zach Killian.
Hello and welcome to the Local Lounge on Talk Radio 1190. Now I'm your host Zach Killian, and we're talking anything and everything in the local music scene in North Texas. That's Denton, Dallas, Fort Worth. It's the focus of this show to give you, the listener, a somewhat of behind the music experience with the local artists around. Remember, you can also get us on the iHeartMedia app by typing in Talk Radio 1190. Got a special treat for you today. We've got Svenny Baby. It's a 4-piece alternative dance rock band from Dallas, Texas. How you guys doing today?
Howdy doody. I'm Victor.
Great, man.
Nice to see you.
I'm Jonathan.
We got two of the 4-piece. We've got Victor and Jonathan. What do you guys play in the band?
I play keyboards and sing.
And I play bass and sing sometimes. We all kind of sing in the band.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Victor does most of the vocals.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys are like the Beatles of party rocking.
Man, I don't know if I feel comfortable with that comparison.
Yeah. Something else.
We're the something of party rock.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll give you a little something. So how long you guys been doing this band?
So we started this band like almost 10 years ago when I was like
10 years,
almost.
wow.
Right. But I started when I didn't know anything about music. I just wanted to do it. And so the current lineup has been together for almost 2 years now.
Yeah. So for real, like the band in its current like form, like of being an actual band and not like a coffee shop group, has been around for like 3 years, maybe. That right? And you and Squee and Bo were doing it, and then but the first 7 years or so were like little coffee shop shows and things like that.
Right.
And I know I wasn't there. He just told you like I've only been in the band 2 years, but I remember going to see them. The very first time I ever saw them play together was at this place in Mansfield called Pirate Coffee. And it was like this little acoustic show, and they passed out like the little egg shakers and decorated to everybody and had people but yeah, it was like chill coffee house stuff, so completely different from what it is today. But same name.
Yeah, and
same two core members.
Right. And so me and Dustin have been in the band since the beginning because, like I said, we didn't know anything about music or bands or what to do. We just loved music and wanted to create a band. But, I'm extremely blessed to work with like very talented musicians now. Like me and Dustin have grown, and Jonathan's an amazing bass player, and Felipe is a terrific drummer. So it's a great.
So what vision did you have for the band from the start? Did you want to do like Black Sabbath at the beginning? Then you're like, no, I want to do something a little more positive. Enough War Pigs, let's do Peace Pigs.
I never had a vision. I just knew that I loved it and I wanted to keep doing it. That was it. And so, I kind of still have that. Now I have I know what I want to do with the band, and makes it a lot easier.
Oh, no doubt.
To go to the direction you want to. But it's been fun.
So to people that don't know the name of the band, where does Svenny Baby come from? I remember we had an interview a while back, and it comes from an anime called Black Cat, I think.
Yes.
What was the context behind that?
In the very first, or actually I think y'all got it from the manga, because they're really dorky and they read manga, although I do too, so I can't say anything.
I do too. No
but it's the very first book in the manga, like the first couple pages. It's this assassin. He's an assassin, right, or bounty hunter named Black Cat, and he has this sidekick named Sven, and Sven's like kind of like the straight man, and Black Cat's more like the goofball. And so they're getting into a car or something, and Black Cat goes, "Hey Svenny Baby, come here!" And of course it pisses Sven off. So they just that hit with them for some reason, and it became the name of the band.
So if you guys get serious eventually, will you guys call yourselves Svenoff? Or Smirnoff? Get endorsed by Smirnoff?
Man, I don't know.
Man, we've talked about changing the name several times, but we haven't found anything we liked more.
Yeah,
so
they've only come up with really terrible like I'm open to changing the name, and we talked about it very seriously for a while, and the only other thing they came up with was 4 on the Floor, and I thought that was just a really, really awful name. Like they were all like they came to me, they had this gleam in their eyes. They're like, "Hey, we think we came up with a new band name." And I'm like, "Okay, what is it?" And they're like, "It's 4 on the Floor." And I was like, "That's so stupid."
No, it's not.
Like, that's stupid. We can't change it to that.
It's a great name.
You can open up for Blood on the Dance Floor.
Yeah. Oh man. Actually, funny story.
I opened up for Blood on the Dance Floor.
No way, really.
What? He plays in this punk band called Where Crowds May Gather. He plays bass, and they opened up for Blood on the Dance Floor because punk and Blood on the Dance Floor go together so well, right?
Pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we played that show, and it was a mess. It was a big mess.
Define mess.
Well, like
was it an organized mess, or was it just like you're on the stage freaking out?
Well, there were a ton of teenagers there that were just going nuts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we just got done through our set. I get off the stage, and the teenagers are just all over me. And it was very strange. And I was like thinking to myself, I'm a teacher. You know, and I had this one girl come up to me and she just gave me a big old hug and kissed my cheek and then said, Mom, come here, like take a picture. take a picture. I'm with this guy. And I'm like, this is going to go on social media. Like, I just saw the headlines, like, local teacher gets in trouble or something, right?
Everything spreads like wildfire on social media, man. You got to be careful.
I know. And then, well, I didn't see it. I didn't have any control over it. It just happened.
Oh, yeah.
And then after she goes, there's this one weird looking teenage kid just staring at me down. And just as soon as we make eye contact, he smiles at me. Like really slow.
Was it like a nice smile or was it seductive?
It was
like maniacal.
It was a very slow, like a maniacal look. And so he approaches me and I didn't know what to do. So I just stood there. I was like, I wonder where this is going to go. And he's like, you're really cute. And I'm like, I gotta go. Bitch. Have a good day, sir.
Bob Barker, come on in.
Mm.
So that's a good thing we could talk about. How do you respond with fans after shows?
Well, usually most places we play are like 21 and up. So
yeah, like
99% of the time we don't deal with teenagers, and that's I've never had to deal with that because I don't play in that punk band with him, but thankfully because that gets hairy. But most of the time, like people, there's like two types of people you talk to after the show. There's people who genuinely enjoyed your music. And they want to know more about it. They want to know if you have any online presence, things like that. And those are people like you engage with, and we played this show in Tyler, and there was this kid that came up to us, Daniel. He goes to high school out there.
Damn, Daniel.
I just said we don't interact with teenagers, but I guess we do sometimes. But he saw us play at Clicks Live in Tyler, and he came up, and he was like so into it, and he wanted to get selfies and stuff, and we stayed there and talked to him, got to know him, and that kind of stuff is great. And then the other kind of people that talk to you are people you played with in other bands who you can tell didn't really like it, but they're just being nice because they got a network, like, and that's 50-50, because sometimes bands come up to you and they tell you, oh man, that was great, I enjoyed it, and you can tell like they really liked it, and sometimes you can tell, okay, you're just doing the network thing, man.
How can you tell if they're networking? Do they just have like a...
Yeah, I think most people can tell when somebody's being genuine, right?
Yeah, like there seems to be like a whole body language that goes with it. Like, for example, if they're saying it and they're like, hey, that was a good show, and there's nothing else after that. Yeah, there's no heart behind it, right? But when we have bands like, that was so good, and they'll like say, like on the keyboard for me, they'll be like, yeah, you really know how to play. And I'm like, thank you so much. It means a lot, or they'll tell you again too. That usually happens. They'll repeat it to you later that night, which is really nice. Mm-hmm.
Did they ever come up with a question of like what inspired you to get into music, or what bands really influence you?
Is that the question you're asking us right now? Okay, what influences? I love disco. I love disco a lot.
Like 70s disco?
Yes, and then the people that are making like disco music now. I've started to listen to this band called Young Bay.
Young Bay is in BAE?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, they're amazing. And also Flamingosis. I've been listening to them too. Like they sample a lot of 70s stuff.
Okay.
And they just have like really good groups. But anyways, like that kind of stuff just inspires me. And then I'm a keyboardist too, so I love Ben Folds and I love like that technicality to all that.
Oh, no doubt.
And also like good music just inspires me. Like I feel like it's a magic trick and I want to learn what the magic is behind it. So I like to dissect the songs and also like the challenge. I love being challenged a lot as a musician. And so I'll throw I'll throw like some crap songs to the band and they'll be like, this isn't good. So I'll be like, okay, I got to write a better one. So it's been a really fun process that way.
Which I'd like to show a sample real quick. Okay. And one of them I want to show is Crystalline.
Okay, Crystalline. I love Crystalline.
That's Crystalline.
Uh-huh.
My bad.
That's all right.
Let's go ahead and play that.
It seems so far away. Je suis désolé, désolé, désolé. Je suis désolé, désolé.
That was Crystalline. That's coming for you guys' new EP. What is it? EP, LP?
EP.
EP. Is there a name behind it, or are you just releasing 4 tracks? What's going on with that?
Our EP is called Cool for a Moment.
Cool for a Moment.
Mm-hmm. And we decided on that name because we wanted to kind of explain, like, I don't know, we sat around and we thought about it, and like, when we're on stage, we feel cool for that one moment. After that, we're like back to our dorky selves. And we wanted to, when you're listening to the EP, we want you to feel cool with us.
And it also comes from, like, anytime we go anywhere, Victor has to try to, like, mac on some girl. Like it,
I
it
used
doesn't
to.
matter
I used
wherever
to
we
have
go.
that problem.
He said
Not
he
anymore.
used to.
And so we would be out somewhere like playing a gig, trying to get ready for something, and we're like focusing, talking about what we have to do, and he'd be like looking around, trying to scope out the place, and be like, Victor, can you be cool for just like 1 minute? Can you be cool for 1 minute? And we would tell him that so much. So on Crystalline, the song you just played, like that's the opening line, can I be cool for a moment? So
Yeah.
I don't know, we just kind of liked it. He wrote it in that song. We're like, that's like a good name for a record, right?
Yeah.
You know, and none of the, you know, naming things is hard because that's like your first impression,
Oh, yeah.
right? You know, it's just
naming
like
a kid.
right.
Yep.
It's like when you see someone, you know, so much of what you think of them is based upon how they're dressed and how they carry themselves. It's the same thing with a record, you know. So you have to put a lot of thought into that initial first impression that you get.
So how do you view music as a first impression? I mean, do you use music to mac on the girls?
Oh, my gosh.
Mr. Taruno?
Okay, so about that side of my life, I don't do that anymore. I have matured.
He's a reformed man. This is we're talking about like weeks ago was the last time this happened.
Oh,
It was not weeks
he's
ago.
converted in a few weeks, I see.
No, I don't know. There's this.
Oh, he's different. He's trying to settle down and show some roots. And
Are we going to have a Mrs. Taruno soon?
Oh no!
Just a dog?
I just. Would you say just a dog?
No, not you with a dog, like having a dog.
Oh yeah, I have 3 dogs. I love my dogs. You know, it's been interesting. I feel like I have matured a lot more since that moment, but it always struck to me because like it's something that I keep in mind because sometimes you just feel so emotional. You just got to just take a step back and just cool out.
That's a good thing to do with music. And
Right.
we're about to hit our break time, so we'll go ahead and get back into it. And we'll get some advice from you guys on any upstarting musicians, what you might want to say to them if they're trying to get started. We'll talk about any live shows coming up, what it is to do a live show, and we'll be back with the local lounge and Svenny, baby.
We don't care what you want to.
It's like 1 in a million.
Open up the door.
Thank you, man.
5, 5, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1. It's time for fun with your host Zach Gillian.
Oh yeah, we're having to like make eye contact through the mic stand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hi everyone, this is George Miatis from the heavy rock band Sonar Lights, and you are listening to The Local Lounge.
And we are back, listeners. Local Lounge, Zach Killian here. We've got Svenny, baby. We got a +1 now. He just drove up here.
Here
What's
I
going
am.
on, brother?
Yo, I'm Duddy Johnson. I play guitar for Svenny Baby. Just got off work. Happened to be in the area, so I stopped by.
He gives the best bear hugs, and he's got one of the biggest beards I've known in a while.
It's true.
He's rivaling ZZ Top.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Before you know it.
he is known around for his beard. Do people ever call you out by your beard when we're
Oh,
at
yeah.
gigs and stuff?
Oh yeah, definitely.
They
People
recognize you.
You know how people recognize you for your boots?
Yeah.
Like, hey, you play bass for Svenny Baby. You have those boots.
Yeah.
It's you. That's how it happens with my beard.
Yeah, people just
So-
find me because of my talent.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
okay,
a
we're
lie.
throwing shade here on the Local Lounge.
Okay. Okay.
We got some shade throwers. Well, let's shed some light while we're throwing out some shade.
It's clever.
And so one thing we like to do on the show is to give advice to up-and-coming musicians out there. You guys have been doing this for 2 years now.
Yes.
2, 3, technically you said 7 to 10 years.
Yes.
But with this current dynamic. So when a musician has just picked up a guitar, they're just learning a few chords, what would you say, how to make music?
Step 1. Write a bunch of music.
Now,
Write.
what if they're too scared to write? What if they feel like they're not good
Just
enough to write?
understand that you're gonna suck. You're gonna suck, and it's gonna hurt, and your feelings gonna get hurt. Get over it. The faster you get over it, the sooner you can start making some good songs.
There's a good quote from Curly Howard that I always never forget. If you keep on sucking until you do succeed.
Mhm.
Now, that might seem a little disambiguous these days, but in the 1930s, I don't think you had to worry about that.
Yeah. Jake the dog from Adventure Time said it best too. He said the first step to getting good at something is sucking at it for a long time. Basically the same thing, but
So
Jake
how long
the
have
dog
you
said
guys
it.
been sucking?
We sucked for 7 years.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. In the beginning, it was just kind of like, it was just like a science project more than a band. It was like, hey, you play that chord and I'll play this one. And if they sound bad, we'll pick different chords until it sounds good.
It was trial and error for a long time.
Yeah, it was way back in the day, back in high school for me and Victor. And it was just, it was ugly for the longest time.
Because y'all didn't have any previous musical experience.
No,
right?
I mean, we both sang in,
Yeah,
the
we were in
high school choir, but I mean, until he went off to college and started figuring it out, chose music as the path he wanted to do, for a career to work at. It wasn't until then, he was able to shine light to me, like to kind of give me clues. And then he learned, the ins and out of music theory, and he was able to transfer that knowledge to me. It wasn't until all those things started clicking that it started sounding like music instead of noise.
And
So
do you
how
have
important is a relationship between the musicians?
It is the single most important thing. I mean, we've had a lot of very good musicians come in and out of this band, but it's only successful at this point because we love, everyone that we make music with. It's
Right.
chemistry first, and if the chemistry's not there, then the music's not going to come.
Right. That's exactly right.
Some bands we meet every once in a while, and not to name names or anything, but there was one touring band that came through, and they were a really good band, like put on a really good show on stage. But we were talking to the photographer who was touring with him, and he was like, "Man, these guys are at each other's throats. They hate each other right now from this
that
tour."
sucks.
And we were like, man, I can't imagine being in a situation like that, because like we all get along great. Like we're best friends. Like if we weren't in a band, we'd be hanging out on the weekends anyway. So
It's
we might as
true.
well play music, right? But I can't imagine being in a situation where I'm making music with people and around these people and playing shows and stuff, and I don't love being around them, right?
I can't imagine
Like-
making music with somebody and not being a family about it.
Right?
Yeah, it's
Right.
definitely a family.
I've heard that many times. I've heard many horror stories about it, and it's like, that just sounds so uncomfortable. Like, I feel there needs to be love there, or needs to be like money. Love or money. Yeah.
And I feel like when you play music with somebody, you really get to know them in a way that you wouldn't otherwise, because there's so much nonverbal communication and kind of things. It's like, and two, when you're doing something in a creative capacity, not just like playing in an orchestra where you're playing stuff written on a page, but when you're like making songs and like trying to arrange songs with each other, you're really like showing your bandmates parts of your soul and stuff.
Yeah,
And you're
that's,
having to
music
be-
is very spiritual.
Yeah,
And that's showing a different side of you that a lot of people don't see.
right.
Like you were saying.
And you have to be very vulnerable with your bandmates. You have to bring them a song and be prepared to, that they're going to hate it. And you have to be very honest, on the other side of it. If somebody brings you a song and it's a song like, "Oh, this is terrible," you don't want to be stuck playing it. So you have to tell them like, "Hey man, I don't think that's a very good song." Or they want to make a change to something, and you have to just be honest and be like, "Hey, this is how I feel. I don't think that's, a great change to make to the song." And so you have to be very, very vulnerable, and you also have to be willing to be very honest with your bandmates.
Oh yeah,
No
definitely. Ask Victor how many times a week I tell him to rewrite his song lyrics. He's like, "Hey, I wrote this new song." I'm like, "That's
Victor's
awesome.
on.
The music sounds beautiful, but you need to rewrite all those words because
So-
they're not meaningful." And yeah, so we're very honest with each other.
Whenever I get people complimenting our band or anything, I get very excited, because like they don't know what we have to do, the process. Like for me, songwriting is difficult because I don't like to be very emotional with other people,
Yeah.
but with my bandmates, like here's what's going on in my head and my heart, and they're just like, okay, let's just do it. They're not like trying to analyze what's going on with me or anything, and I appreciate that.
So when it's coming to getting your music out there, like you guys came out with how many songs did you come out with in your first EP?
Our
It was like
first album was
Your first album, that was your album.
It was 10 songs.
10
Yeah.
songs.
That's a good undertaking to go with on your first release.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how was it getting that out there to get people to recognize it?
We played a lot of shows.
Just play
a lot of shows, and we didn't really know too much about the marketing side, but now we do. So like we were like pushing.
So it's a learning experience. The whole time.
Exactly. And we're spreading out our content. We're being a lot wiser about it, but also I think we wanted the challenge of doing an album. I think we wanted that ambitious goal, and we did it, and it helped us a lot for sure.
And I think most people were kind of surprised. Like the people who heard our first record mainly were like friends and family and like extended friends, college friends,
That's how
and
it
stuff like
usually
that.
is.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. Your tight social circles go first. And I think, most of your friends probably haven't heard, most of our friends probably haven't heard us play live. They don't really know much about the band, but they know we're in a band. They see us post stuff. And then we put the record out there and we're like, hey, it's on Spotify, iTunes, go listen to it. And they go listen to it and they're like, oh, okay. I thought they were just like some, some awful, terrible
We got
band,
censored
right?
buttons for a reason.
I thought they were just, so they're like, oh, I just thought they were, some like little local band or something. And then they listen to it and they're like, oh, this has some actual production value. This sounds good. Like they wrote some interesting songs. And so
That's the stigma with music these days. Is like you think when you release music and you tell people you're a musician, you're like, oh, you're a musician, that's cute.
Yeah,
Like that's
right.
just art in general.
right.
Yeah, that exact scenario happened our last gig at the Profit Bar. One of my coworkers came to come see us, for the longest time, I'm like, hey guys, I'm in a band, and I talk about stuff, my personal life at work. I'm like, yeah, we're playing here. And then finally he came to come see us, and he's like, dude, I'm not gonna lie, I just thought that you guys were a really crappy band up until I came and saw you. And then he saw us, live. He's like, dude, like, I'm not missing another show. Like, you guys are amazing. So that's really cool. Like, that's really super reassuring that we're doing right things.
It's like breaking that stigma. It's just like,
Yeah.
well, you thought this the way about us, but now if you actually go out and actually see this music, because that's what a lot of people do. It's like you'll make a Facebook event and they'll say interested instead of going.
Yeah,
It's just like once they actually go, instead of just saying, I might go. I mean, yeah, it's just a music show.
Yeah, we're very
They
thankful for
actually
people
go.
that come out, because I understand we're competing with the YouTube. We're competing with YouTube,
With the
Spotify.
YouTube.
I know. I was gonna say something else, but we compete with mainstream music, and
That's hard to do in today's market.
exactly, and also with like bigger bands in the area. We're competing with all these people, but people still come to our shows, and we're very grateful for that.
Well, they got a new EP they've got coming out. I wanted to play another sample from it. This one's called Dancing with Another from the EP called...
Cool for a moment.
Yep, Victor would know that one. So let's get into that real quick.
Dancing with another till we found each other. Dancing with another, dancing with ourselves. Dancing with another till we found each other. Dancing with another, dancing with ourselves. Dancing with another till we found each other.
I was Dancing with Another from Svenny Baby. We're interviewing him right now. Now, guys, I wanted to ask you this question real quick. You guys have been in the music scene for a while, and I like asking this one. So what is your most rock star moment you've experienced while doing music? Like, have you trashed a hotel room? Did you drink a little too much? What's something that's happened to you? You're just like, wow, I'm making it as a musician.
So the thing about us is we're all like really lame, right? Like, no one in the band really like, no one drinks except for me, and I don't even drink when we play gigs
Dustin
because.
drinks.
Oh, that's true. You
Yeah,
drink a little now, but for the
yeah.
longest time, Dustin didn't drink. So
Yeah.
I mean, we don't really like drink or party or do anything. Like
and it's like when we do drink, it's never that
It's in
rock star.
moderation.
Yeah, exactly. We drink responsibly.
So our most rock star moment, man. Like, do we have rock star moments?
oh,
Like,
Did
I
you
know
guys trash a
mine.
place once?
what's yours?
Definitely our album release. Just
Oh
having
my
like
gosh.
150 people show up to a packed room.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah,
I guess,
that was our rock star moment. Was that night?
And we had. I'm sorry, Jonathan. We did Hey Jude at the very end as our closer, and we had all these people come on stage and sing with us.
That sounds amazing.
Oh yeah,
So
we did the whole painted, because the album was called Paint Me. So of course, we were covered in all this paint
That's
that
sick.
everybody painted right before the show.
Painting fixtures.
Like as they're coming into the venue, they would, people would paint on these shirts, on these pants, and then we wore that stuff for the show.
And it was not dry by the
And it
time
was
the show
not
started.
So your
there's-
instruments
it
were
was-
sopping wet and whatnot?
Oh yeah.
Not quite. I've got a couple of green marks on my bass.
I have
And
marks
he's
on my
got some on his
keyboard.
keyboard. Yeah.
So the show's coming to a close. Thanks for you guys coming in. I want to let people know how they can get y'all's music. Where can they go to hear y'all and follow y'all?
We're on Spotify, YouTube, iTunes Music, Google. I think we're in Google Play.
Bandcamp, Amazon, pretty much any place.
Any place you can
you
listen
want to
to
go.
music.
We've got some exclusive live videos on Facebook. Facebook is like the best place to follow us.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah, that's where we try to put up all of our info and stuff. We also have a website, SvennyBabyMusic.com. Where
Now,
we
how do you
keep,
spell Svenny Baby? Because
It's-
some people might be a little...
right? Most people are like sweaty babies,
Sweaty
spinning
babies.
Spinning
babies.
babies.
Yeah. It's
Smelling good.
SvennyBaby. And yeah, if you Google it, that's like the only thing that comes up, which is great, right? Like it's hard to say, but
That's a unique
it's
name.
yeah, it's got good SEO potential.
Well, we've had the alternative dance rock band Svenny Baby in. Give them a listen. Give them what they need and what they deserve. And just keep on rocking to that local music scene. Thanks, guys, for coming in.
Thank you. And
Thank
remember
you,
to
Zach.
be cool for a moment.
Be cool for a moment and get the babes. This is the Local Lounge, and until next time.
We don't care what you want.
Steele, winner of the Dallas Observer's 2014 Best Music Photographer in North Texas. You're listening to the Local Lounge.
That's why we've had many years.